Okay. In truth, I don't know how many days are left. I do know that I just tonight finished my last performance of this week's worth of performances, and I have 1 week to go. I apologize for not recording the last couple of days. I could give you whatever kind of excuse, but in truth, I just dropped the ball. However, I had a good day today, hence I am here recording this video. Now, I don't choose to not record these videos out of any kind of trying to hide. It's because I've convinced myself I don't need to do it today, that's the danger. Thinking, I don't need to do that today. I'll do it tomorrow. And if you do, I'm a believer in how you do something's how you do everything. So if I'm skipping out on that, then there are other things I'm definitely skipping out on. And if I reflect back on those days that I didn't record videos for, there is definitely more I could have done. So that rings true. The way you do something is the way you do everything. So if I don't record this video, it's because I'm cutting a corner or I'm putting the finish line early. And you can guess how my day went. And just to add more further evidence to that, today was a good day. I had rehearsal from 10 a.m. till about 6:15 p.m. So a lot of rehearsal, all with my co-worker, co-performer, collaborator. And we got a lot done, some good deep work, which I was very happy with. And then we performed tonight, which was the last performance of this week. And then there are 4 performances left: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, next week. And then that's it. After that, there's no performances lined up for myself by my school and my place of study, and I need to go out and source my own work. Now, I had some discoveries which I think are kind of universal truths that I want to share with you. Because I was thinking about performance, and performing arts is it's quite tricky, a bit elusive, and a bit backwards thinking. Or maybe it's not backwards and it's just my perception. But what I'm getting at is I'm learning that the performances don't matter at all. At all. Which, if you've been following along in this series, in the last series, the Days Left series, and instead of the Chances Left series, you'll see me talking about I have this many days until we're performing, this many days until we're performing. But my mind was on, I need to get myself ready for the performance date, because the performance was the important part. It wasn't. The most important day was every day except for the days of performance. Because it's about process, not about the result. The result, you can have some control and some influence over, and you can try and fluke it, you can try and get fucking lucky and strike lightning on that night. But you will spend 99.5% of your days in process. And then you will spend 0.5% of your time performing in whatever field it is. Who gives a shit about 0.5%? If you learn to master and perfect the 99.5, that last crumb, that'll come, you don't have to fucking worry about it. If you put all your eggs into process, you don't have to worry about performance at all. Fall in love with the process. Be curious about the process. Don't give a shit. Do not give a shit about the result. Specifically in acting. Whenever you get an audition, it's not a performance. Stop making it a performance. Stop making it this big thing. And I'm not even there yet, but I hope that I can ingrain this in my soul. That when I get an audition opportunity, I get invited to audition. It's just another boring, not boring because it's exciting, but it's just another same as every other day kind of day of process. Except this time people have asked me to, hey, can you work on your process with this particular character? Yeah, for sure. I'll come in and I'll play and I'll experiment and see how I go. And I'll do what you want me to do. But it's just process. And by doing that, it takes the ego out of the performance because you're not prioritizing the performance. If you're prioritizing the performance, then that's because you're caring about how it looks. You're caring that it's a good job. It being good should be a byproduct of your love of process. That's what I'm learning at the moment. So I had this one of those old weights. What's it called? The counterbalance weights. I can't remember what it's called. But it was very much weighted in favor of performance and getting performance ready. Now I'm starting to borrow from that, and I'm putting that in the other one, and I'm putting more and more focus on process. How can I perfect my process? And it takes all the stress off, man. It takes all the stress off of actually performing. Yeah. That's what I'm learning at the moment. I performed tonight, and I think it's probably my best one so far. But I still think there's more to go. And I think my process needs a lot of work. And this 4x4x4, this event has highlighted the holes in my process, the faults in my process, and what I need to change. The fundamental faults in the way I think and the way I operate. I'm going to expose myself here now. My co-worker, performer, she put me up on something, which I'm incredibly grateful for. She said, she pointed out my choice of words and my language was interesting. And she said, why don't you actually ask me? You say, so you want to rehearse rather than can I rehearse with you? Can we rehearse? You say, so you want to rehearse, do you? And she pointed out that I never ask for things. And then we went into it a bit, and then it was I had this belief or this limitation in my mind that I wasn't allowed to ask people of their time. I can't ask people to give me their time, which is why I say, so you want to rehearse? Because then they say yes, and you go, okay, cool, so I'm not wasting time. Whereas if I said, hey, can we rehearse? It's because it's centered on what I want. And I'm asking, hey, can you do this thing with me that I want to do? Whereas, so you want to rehearse makes it about them, and I'm fulfilling their need as opposed to my own. So that's definitely something I'm looking out for. Because that kind of language and that framing of questions and never asking things of people affects my life. What it says is that I have low self-worth. Now, if I want to secure that $10 million contract, that $10 million acting is probably more now. The top of the line is more than 10 million at this point. But if I'll start with 10 million. So let's say we get that little measly $10 million contract. I better be bringing $10 million worth of self-worth. Yeah. The other thing was back on process. The the more that I prioritize process, the more time I spend in the work prior to performance, the performance is going to be better. The more time that I spend in process and the more importance and significance I put on process, the more energy I put into it, the more I'm collaborating with my other team members, the more I'm collaborating with my director, it'll be a much better show overall. So this has been just a huge discovery for me. Oh, reframing of thinking. So once this is over, I'm going to solidify my process, my latest version of it. And I'm going to keep working on, so I've got these 4 shows. One of them is we're trying to get funding from the government to have a tour around Australia, which would be fucking awesome. But in the meantime, while that's humming away, I'll leave that one. There's another show, one of the 4 shows, that I'm going to keep working on because it could be done as a solo piece, so that I can keep rehearsing that and cultivating my process through that show, getting better at it. LeBron James has mastered his process. He takes care of his body. His body is his product. My body is my product. I was doing stretches before tonight's show, and in this show I spend the entirety of it, like 98% of the show, sat in a chair in a restaurant, and I'm sitting that whole time. Why am I stretching? Why am I releasing my hip flexors? Why am I like stretching my back and my shoulders and my legs and my quads and my calves? The bench players in the NBA do it before every game. They're professional. But they didn't start doing that. They did it, and then they did that. They followed their process. Then they got into the NBA, and they continued doing it, and they continue. And it's the ones that cultivate their process that yield the better results, that yield the court time, that yield the contracts. It's a process. So I was there, and I was thinking, if I want to be the world's best I would stretch to relieve my body of any kind of possible tension, even in a seated position, to allow for more emotional availability and a lack of tension, and more character can inhabit my body. And lo and behold, tonight was the best performance that I've done so far, I think. Still definitely further to go, but a lot of epiphanies today, and happy with the trend of where we're headed. That is all for tonight, but keep that in mind. Are you obsessing over the result, or are you fascinated and in love with the process? I apologize for this video taking so long to come out. I'm gonna be better. Alright, ciao for now.